All right, Kelly Ann, go ahead. You got the floor first.
Good afternoon, y'all. So, I just wanted to come up here and kind of give my opinion from two different standpoints. One from like a moralistic standpoint, and two from my legal background. So, from a moralistic standard, I think the son and the mother, well, really the son, because the mom she didn't really do much. It was the son who shot the man or beat
I'm
the
not
man.
to cut you off, but like they both got charged with M word, and
Right.
the mother got charged with accessory to like delinquency
Yeah.
of a minor
No,
as well.
exactly. That's what I'm saying. From a moralistic standpoint, just
Right,
from a common person, he's the
right.
one who actually pulled the trigger and executed the aggressor. In my opinion, he's the aggressor. The man in the store was the aggressor in this situation. I think he was completely within his right as a son, as a 14-year-old son, seeing that type of force being used against a woman, let alone your mother. That is going to cause you to want to retaliate and want to defend your mother. That is literally your
Absolutely.
caretaker. That is literally who protects him. And I'm sure if her firearm was registered and legal,
It
then she
was.
also
It
taught her
was, by the
son,
way.
right? She also taught her son probably how to engage with a firearm, which is probably how he knew how to do it so easily. Yeah, within all rights, you put your hand on a woman like that, all over food, over whatever the argument was, whether it was him get cutting in line or if she whatever the situation was, you thought that it was that crucial, that important for you to literally threaten her. It wasn't like she was threatening him like, I'm gonna get somebody down here to beat you up and da 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 da. He literally went out of his way on his own accord to escalate the argument. If you listen to the video, the woman she didn't even seem that angry. Yes, her voice was raised, but he was screaming. His face was filled with anger. And he went out of his way to not only threaten her, but then realize those threats by putting his hands on her and punching her with full force. The way he cocked his arm back, that by itself, if she would have had some sort of prior existing health condition, that could have killed her, right? That force alone could have
Did you
killed
hear
her.
that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that pop after the first one?
Absolutely, he could
It
have
was a
broke her.
pop.
It's actually a blessing that she's even able to.
I'm looking at her mugshot, and she looked like she didn't even like suffer any injuries to her face. Cause I don't know if you saw Jacquees mugshot recently, but he looked
Yeah,
like he got like lumped up. This
yes,
woman
and
took like 4 or 5 punches from a grown man, and she
a
looked
grown
fine.
man. And
You got a strong
imagine the
jaw. I'm not
woman.
even trying to be funny.
And she kind of seems like she's probably a has a bigger physical physique than most women. Imagine if this woman was my size, 5'4" at 125. That would have killed me. Like that is a blessing that she was able to, even survive those type of hits, multiple hits to her head. It wasn't no body shots. So I think from a moralistic standpoint, he is completely wrong. There's no justification. And listening to your intro, at first I was a little bit like, oh my God, don't tell me this man is up here trying to justify this. But once I listened to you more, I kind of agreed where you were coming from. Like, a man is never justified unless his life is actually being, put in danger. But the one thing you kept saying was buck up, and I just don't see the buck up. I don't know if it's just a difference of terminology that you're using
You
it.
want me to explain?
Yeah, you can explain.
Okay, so again, and like I was speaking on this a couple weeks back. There's a lot of women that they do like really they literally she wasn't like getting all in his face and trying to square up with him, but I think you and I can both acknowledge that there's women out here that they really do buck up with men. Like they voice start getting loud. They wanna get close to a man, get in his face, and
Mm-hmm.
they want to get like damn near aggressive with him. And what I am saying is when I see a woman doing that, because I have two sisters myself, and my sisters weren't raised to like if you're gonna engage in any sort of disagreement with a man, I don't think women should be doing stuff like that. I wasn't raised to put my hands on women. I've never put my hands on a woman before. Like I just said, the
Right.
only time you're gonna be justified in putting your hands on a woman is if she's literally threatening your life. You never ever gonna be justified in any other circumstance. But for the men that were not raised like me, there's a lot of men that if you get in their face, if you do stuff like that, they're going to knock the teeth out of your mouth. All I'm saying is, again, I'm not absolving him of what he did. like I said, the son did what he was supposed to do. That man shouldn't be here. And I even mentioned this. The mom, even like the mom, when the 14-year-old laid down the guy, the mom was even telling the son to shoot the girlfriend, which I don't necessarily agree with, but the
Which
whole
I'm
point
glad
that
the
I'm
son didn't do, because
yeah,
then
me
that would
too.
have been a different case. But
Right.
yeah.
But the whole point that I'm trying to make is everyone is not raised the same. So I honestly think that he threatened her. He said, "Listen, if you say such and such one more time,
I'm gonna
I'm
knock
going
your
to
ass
do
out.
X, Y, and Z."
Hmm.
As a woman, even though I'm not a woman, if a man tells you that, I think you should believe him. I think you should stop talking. And only Lord knows what they was even talking about. It was an Italian
So
spot. If you look at the menu, it was pizza and spaghetti. And so at the end of the day, when
fast
he
food at
said,
that.
"Hey, oh my grandma," and they in Chicago, but like at the end of the day, when he said, "Oh my grandma," if you do or say X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna do this. I think she should have believed him and just like been quiet, just got her food and left. That's what I honestly think. I think all this could have been avoided if she would have done that, but she didn't do that. She wanted to keep talking, and what transpired.
Okay, so in this situation, I feel like she didn't even get to say. She literally was saying, he was like, "Oh my grandma, da 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 da, I'm an ass out," right? She literally said, "What talk?" She said, he said, "If you talk again, or if you say one more word," her next two words was something like, "What you mean talk?" It's like it was. She didn't even get to complete the sentence. The man had already had it in his mind. If you look at the video, he's already squaring his body up to be able to inflict a punch on her. She didn't even get to say a sentence. So if you're saying she should have just got completely quiet, okay, let's just take that. She didn't even have the opportunity to do that. One, her back was against the wall. Two, imagine this argument was over something else. Imagine if it was something like he was telling her, "You better come with me right now, or I'm gonna rape your ass," and whatever. Let's just say it was something crazy like that. A woman's supposed to just stay quiet and do what the man says, especially in this situation where we see that there's going to be other grown men, adults, who are not going to intervene and help. At that point, are you saying that women should just stay silent and be agreeable and abide by whatever this crazy person, aggressor, is saying to them? What if it was, "Get into this car right now"? Should she not have get into this car right now, or maybe go rob this place for me right now? What should she have done to protect herself in that situation? Is what I'm saying.
I
If
wanna.
if if she can't even be verbal, let alone physically abusive, because he's a man, what should she have done in that situation? Because to me, I feel
Okay.
like she had no other option.
Okay. I'm not evading your question, but I want us to stay on this topic. I don't want us to get into the semantics of other situations that we're not talking about
Right.
at present.
That's
Um,
fine.
yeah.
More than happy to answer that after you get to me, Noble. Like, I'll be patient.
Okay, but
Yeah.
that's just to say I understand when I think buck up, when people hear that, they're thinking she was squaring up, she was in his
Yeah.
face, she was ready to fight,
Yeah.
and that
Okay.
was not the situation here. That
Yes, but
literally
okay,
was
but
not the situation here. So to
Kayla
me,
or Kelly, what I am saying is, first of all, we all seen, like you said, we all seen this man like squaring up to punch her anyways. And she being in the heat of the moment, she's seen that too. Like as a man or a woman, when people are fighting, bro, when people start getting very close to you, when people start leaning over their shoulder and bucking up their fist, all I am saying is that when he said, "On my grandmom, if you do X, Y, and Z," he told her what he was going to do, and she did whatever. And she did speak after that. Was it in the spur of the moment? Yes. And again,
yes.
I'm not absolving him of what he did,
Hmm.
but I'm just saying
You're saying life or
my
death.
whole
She
point,
should have just ran out the store pretty much, like, because it
my
was
whole
coming to
my
that
whole
type of
point
point.
is do not go back and forth with don't even like, but especially strangers that you can't really give the benefit of the doubt.
Hmm.
Just don't engage in that type of stuff with them to start off with.
Okay, that's
That's
agreeable.
that's
And
all. That's all I am saying. I'm not co-signing what he did at all. I'm proud of the son because if I was a son, I would have did the same thing. I would have emptied the whole clip, however much I had. I would have emptied the whole clip on him.
okay.
If somebody ever do something like that to my mom, God forbid. But all I'm saying is don't engage in that. So the
Okay,
two more
real quick,
questions.
before I know you're gonna pass the mic, can I just make one more point just
Yeah,
because?
but in addition to whatever you're about to say, I want you to speak on your thoughts on the men that were standing around watching them,
Mhm.
verbally go back and forth. And then as he hit her, as he started punching her, as they started leaving the store. I want you to speak on your thoughts on that.
Oh, I mean, I'm not shocked by it at all. In this day and age, I'm not shocked by it. It's the same thing we talked about when we talked about the whole Suki and YK Osiris thing, and those men stood around. And there's been many situations. I've been in situations as a woman like that before, where I knew black men around me were not going to protect me. They literally did the same thing and left. So to me, it's not surprising. To me, it's deplorable. It's very disappointing.
Is it?
It is very disappointing, but
What's disappointing about it?
I understand that people are going to, want to protect themselves first, and that's I mean, this man obviously was on something. The fact that his woman would actually egg him on to do something like that instead of trying to talk him down is crazy itself. I don't really know. I don't. To me, it's not surprising. I guess that's my standpoint on it.
Why
It
is
is
it
what it is.
why is it deplorable though?
It's deplorable because as a man, you can at least use your words to try and protect somebody, woman or not. What if he was punching on his son like that? Man, it's still male to male, whatever it was. If somebody is being hurt in your presence, and there's even if it's the smallest thing, call the cops, something, scream, stop. Maybe I know people don't want to put themselves in crossfire, but you can try to do something. But to leave, to turn your back on it is crazy. Because what if that was your mom? What if that was your sister? Wouldn't you want
You
somebody
want
to
me to
step
answer
in and
that?
help?
You
No,
want
I'm
me
just
to answer
saying,
that?
wouldn't that man want somebody to help? Would
You
they
want me
want
to
them to
answer that?
leave?
I can answer that for you. You want me to answer?
Sure.
Okay, at the end of the day, and I say this with all due respect. At the end of the day, at the end of the day, you and black women in general, you're not entitled to protection from men that don't know you, that don't have any loyalty towards you,
Mm-hmm.
and vice versa. There's listen, I have a mother, I have two sisters, I have a godmother, I have aunties, I have cousins, I have women that very much love and care about me in my life, and so do a lot of other black men. There are a lot of black men that are in the dirt right now. There are a lot of black men that are severely injured, paralyzed, all because they wanted to intervene in something that had nothing to do with them. As a
Mm-hmm.
man, you know what I'm going to do if I see something like this going on? I'm going to call the authorities. I'm going to call the authorities as soon as possible, and that's all I'm going to do to get involved. Because at the end of the day, let's say one of those men in there do want to actually go like get involved and try to like separate them. What if that 14-year-old boy comes in there and sees a man hovering over his mom that didn't punch his mom, and he emptied the clip out on that man, and
Right.
the man that actually did punch his mom is like, just like, he probably would have got locked up or whatever, but he's still alive. And some innocent man that was trying to protect his mom is in the dirt now. So
Mm-hmm.
the whole point that I'm trying to make is that's why I say, women, you shouldn't even be engaging in in this type of stuff. God forbid, knock on wood, God forbid one of my sisters was to be in a situation like that. If I saw the video of it and I seen men walking away and not intervening, I'm not gonna look at them as less than or think it's deplorable, because I'm gonna do the same exact thing. That
And
woman doesn't have any loyalty to me. She's a stranger to me. And
mm,
at the end of the day, these same men that I'm talking about that are in the dirt right now, a lot of these women go back to that same man that man was trying to protect them from.
mm,
And at the end of the day, that woman's family, they don't pay for that man's funeral. They don't take care of that man's kids. There's men out here that are in the dirt. They were fathers, they were husbands, they were brothers, they were sons, and they're not to be seen from anymore, all because they wanted to intervene in something that had nothing to do with them. Absolutely not. I'm calling the law, and whatever happens from there happens from there, but I'm not getting involved.
right, which is why it just kind of that's why I said it's not disappointing, because now I've learned just on a consensus that many black men feel the same way you feel, that they have no responsibility to step up. They would see a woman being um raped in front of them, and they wouldn't do anything. They would see a woman being chased down and assaulted with weapons and fists in front of them, and they would literally turn the other eye. At least you said you would call the cops, but that's good. But that's why we said we have to find a way to protect ourselves. Meaning, if we can only use our voice, we have to use our voice. If not, we're gonna just what? Just lay there like some sheep and not do nothing. We have no one to protect us. We know nobody's coming to protect us. we know we can't physically protect ourselves against a man's hands. So all we are left to do is to protect ourselves either with a firearm or by our voices. That's all we have at the time. Imagine her son wasn't there and he didn't have that. He couldn't come in to her rescue. So that just kind of confirms my point I was saying before, is that I think she was justified in trying to protect herself, even where her back was literally up against a wall. But um, yeah, I'm not surprised by the men just turning around and walking
Yeah,
out.
I
Um,
hear what you're saying, Kelly, but someone that has two sisters, I'm not gonna listen, I have a younger sister. I'm not gonna advise my younger sister to get into any back and forth with a man on the street that she does not know.
Absolutely.
As soon as a man start giving you that energy, walk away. Walk away.
Absolutely.
Do not engage in stuff like that, because when you engage in stuff like that, you don't know that man. That man's not your brother. That man's not anybody in our family. You don't know how he was raised. So you could possibly get your teeth knocked out of your mouth. There's men out here that are even unaliving women for the simplest stuff like that. So
Oh
what
yeah,
I'm
there's
gonna
men
tell
that's doing it when a woman doesn't even speak back to him. If he feels
exactly.
rejected, if he feels
So my
ignored.
so my
So
whole
when you
point is my
Mhm.
whole point is when a man is giving you that energy, get away. Get away from him.
But sometimes you can't even do that. We've seen it time and time again. A woman will try to get away by silence, just walking away, and they will just like, I feel like this is what this man was doing. He could have easily walked. Why couldn't he have walked away?
Well,
Why
yeah.
are we putting it?
Why are
He
we
Why
should
are we
acting
wait.
putting
He
it
should
on?
like
Why
wait.
are we
he?
He just
putting
gotta
it
wait your
on
turn.
her? She was literally waiting for her food the same way he was waiting for his food. Why couldn't he say, you know what, babe, just get the food. This bitch is getting on my nerve. Let me walk out of here. Whatever he had to say. Why couldn't he walk away
Because he wasn't
when he
raised
was the
like
one that
that,
was being
Kelly.
an
That's my whole
aggressor?
point. That's my
But
whole
We
point. He
need to
wasn't
not be
raised like
around
that.
them. That's what Noble was saying.
Hold
Don't
on,
yeah,
use
Keisha.
we
nonsense
You got to wait your
presence.
turn. Please mute your mic. That's
that's
my
fine.
whole point.
I understand.
I
I
understand what you're
understand.
saying. I
I understand
understand
what you're
that
saying too. I
some
do. I
women
really
don't
do.
even have an opportunity to get away.
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying if you have an opportunity to get away and a man is giving you a certain energy, get
Mm-hmm.
away. Do not engage in a back and forth with him. It's not worth it at the end of the day.
I understand that. It's definitely not worth it. The one last point I wanted to make is I definitely want to give Monica the mic. From my legal background, I think that these mother and son need a very good attorney. I really hope they go and get private counsel because this is going to come down to a self-defense case. If the charges don't eventually get dropped down to manslaughter, which I hope they do, because then the defense of crime of passion can come about, meaning the son
Yeah, I know crime of passion.
when the son walked into the establishment and saw his mom being attacked in this way, there could definitely be a viable defense that he was overcome with some sort of feeling that made him have to eliminate the threat, right?
Right.
Meaning kind of like when you hear these stories about a man walking in and seeing his wife cheating on him,
Yeah, I know
he's able
crime
to
of
assert.
passion. I know what
Yeah,
crime of
so I
passion
think
is.
that would be a really good defense as well. But as far as the self-defense, I think they do have a really good case because deadly force is justified only to prevent death or serious bodily injury, and that then transfers over to an immediate family member, whether it was a husband, a child, or somebody who's very closely linked to the person who is being hurt or being afflicted with this serious bodily injury or the threat of death, which in this case would be the son and the mom. So I definitely think they just need a really good defense attorney. But the only issue is the when he followed the man outside of the store after the first gunshots.
No,
So
he
once
should
the
have
man
followed his ass out. I
no.
understand.
From a
I
moral
understand legally
standpoint,
why it was
absolutely.
wrong. Yeah,
From a
I
moral
understand legally
standpoint,
why that's wrong though, because
right.
like at
He's
that point when you
retreating.
already got him down, yeah.
He's
But like
retreating.
I
So
said,
then
I would have.
the threat was not imminent at that point. That was at
Right.
that point he
I
then
understand.
becomes the aggressor. But because he is 14, he'll be charged as a juvenile. I mean, he's not like he's 17 about to turn 18. He's 14, so I think there's a really good chance that they'll still try him as a juvenile. So I just think they need a really, really good defense attorney who can plead their case really well as far as either a self-defense or a crime of passion. And obviously he's a juvenile, so they can definitely use that as a part to help him as well. And the mom, I can't really see unless there's text messages of her saying "come and kill this man" or something like that. We'd have to see what the text messages say. That accessory to murder
Oh,
charge
fuck
will
the
probably
text
get dropped.
messages, bro. That man was taking off on his mom. That little boy did what he needed to
No,
do.
I totally understand, but when it comes to prosecution, those are the things
Yeah,
that
yeah.
if
I know the
if they feel
defense.
that buck about trying to go after these this pair, then that'll probably be what they'll bring bring up to kind of say that they wanted to kill the man, as opposed to it just being self-defense. So that's the little point I wanted to
But Kelly,
drop.
I appreciate you. Okay, I'm gonna go on to the next
Absolutely.
person. You have a good
Yeah.
day. Okay.
Thank you.
All right.